Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Gyantimidandasya Gyananjanachalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyate Shatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ki Jai Shri Radha Govinda Dev Ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaura Chandra Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananti Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai We are so grateful for this opportunity to celebrate with the Radha Govinda Dev community this special festival of Snan Yatra. In the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami narrates that after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned from his tour of South India, he was residing in Puri. And it was at that time that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya spoke to the king Prataparudra and told him that coming very soon was the Snan Yatra, the bathing ceremony of Lord Jagannath. Traditionally, this takes place on the Jyeshta Purnima, and it is the appearance day of Lord Jagannath when he appeared in this supreme transcendental form where he is exhibiting the deepest, sweetest, and highest ecstatic love in separation of Sri Radharani and the residents of Vrindavan. Lord Chaitanya with his associates were very much excited and full of happiness to attend the Snan Yatra. In Jagannath Puri, it's a very grand celebration. They carry the deities of Jagannath, first Baladev, then Subhadra Mai, and then Lord Sri Jagannath Krishna. They have very large, soft silk ropes wrapped around them, and many Dayatapatis, many very strong pujaris carry the deities to their Snan Vedi, their bathing platform. And have any of you been there for the Snan Yatra? It's very special because throughout the year, Jagannath, Balaram, Subhadra are in their temple, but they come out on a beautiful platform so that everyone in the public and everyone else could freely participate in bathing Lord Jagannath. It is only the pujaris that actually do the bathing. But those who are having the darshan with devotion in hearts, those who are offering prayers, those who are singing, those who are dancing, everyone is participating in this beautiful ceremony. And just as on the appearance day of Lord Krishna on Janmashtami, or on the appearance day of Lord Ram on Ram Navami, or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on Gaur Purnima, the major part of the celebration is Abhishekam, offering bath. And on this day when Krishna, Balaram, and Subhadra manifested this form for the first time, there is this magnificent Abhishek ceremony. It is described that Lord Chaitanya and his followers, practically with unblinking eyes, they were observing. And when we're bathing Krishna, it is not just a ritual. according to our state of consciousness. It could be the deepest state of transcendental samadhi. For the Lord's pleasure, samsiddhir haritoshanam. The most pure and auspicious liquids are offered to Lord Jagannath. And when the devotees see Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra being bathed with the Panchamrita, with the Panchagavya, with very pure water in Puri, it's coming from very special sacred wells that are reserved especially only for Jagannath's pleasure. Srila Prabhupada described that when we have sincere devotion, when we're actually in the true spirit of bhakti, when we see Krishna is eating very nice bhoga, we are satisfied. In fact, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna who came in the mood of Sri Radha to teach us through his own example how to be a devotee. Srila Prabhupada gives example that when a teacher is teaching ABCs or teaching basic arithmetic, she's going through the exercise with the students. The teacher already knows these things, but for the sake of students, she's teaching how to learn how to write. So Lord Krishna, who knows how to please Krishna more than Krishna? The answer is Srimati Radharani. She knows how to please Krishna even more than Krishna. That is the nature of prema. That is the nature of spiritual love. So Krishna, in the mood of his highest devotee, is taking the role of a practitioner devotee to teach us how to love Krishna. Love for Krishna can never be achieved, can never be attained. Wealth can be achieved, health, fame, strength, mystic powers, even liberation, mukti, can be achieved. But prema bhakti can never be achieved. It is too high, it is too sweet, and it is too intimate. Krishna declares that he becomes controlled by and subordinate by his own sweet will to one who serves him with pure love. So such pure love is only accessible when Krishna gives that love. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. When Krishna is pleased by the sincerity of our devotion, Krishna gives that love. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, by his words and by his example, teaching us how to please Krishna. And a very important part of it is the congregational chanting of the holy names. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declares that the prime benediction for all humanity is this congregational chanting of the holy names. It is a benediction, Golokera Premadana Harinam Sankirtana, that is descended from Goloka Vrindavan by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Radha Bhavaduti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. When Krishna comes in his various avatars, he is all merciful. When he comes as Krishna, he is supremely merciful. And when he comes as Lord Chaitanya, Parama Karuna Bahunduijan, when he comes with the love, the devotion, and the compassion of Sri Radha, to taste that and to share it with the world, Rupa Goswami declares Namo Mahabodhanyaya, the supremely most compassionate, magnanimous, and merciful of all avatars. Krishna becomes more merciful than Krishna. So it is his benediction upon all of us, this congregational chanting of the holy names. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was with his associates in Navadvip, or when he was traveling through South India, or when he was in the Jarikhanda forest on his way to Vrindavan, and especially when he was living in Jagannath Puri, among his devotees, he was continuously performing kirtan, continuously hearing the narrations of Krishna's teachings and pastimes. And a very significant part of Lord Chaitanya's instructions and leelas was to celebrate these festivals. Every year, he and the devotees would experience the greatest happiness observing and participating in Snana Yatra, where hundreds of pots of sacred substances and water is offered to Lord Jagannath. And also many wonderful offerings of bhoga or prasad. But after the Snana Yatra is performed on this beautiful bathing platform that is decorated with countless flowers, garlands, beautiful arrangements, most fragrant flowers. All year, people are awaiting this Snana Yatra. At the conclusion, the end of the day, Lord Jagannath is carried into his private quarters, where it is the tradition that for the next fortnight or 15 days, no one can have his darshan except the Dayatapatis. Special descendants of the Shabara Vishvavasu, who at one time long ago lived in the jungle and worshipped Lord Jagannath in his previous form of Nila Madhava. It's very instructive how at that time in the story of Nila Madhava becoming Lord Jagannath, there was Vidyapati, who was crest jewel of Brahmins. There was Indradumna Maharaj, who was the crest jewel of Kshatriya kings, rulers. And there was Vishvavasu, who was a tribal person living in the jungles. And just as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he appeared in the world, it was the combination especially of the loving prayers and kirtans of Haridas Thakur, an untouchable, and Advaitacharya, the crest jewel of Brahmins. So they were given the service of Nilamadhava and then Lord Jagannath. And that has continued to this very day. Chanting, dancing, feasting. And the Gundicha Marjanam demonstrates how every devotee, how they were trying to encourage and inspire each other to be more enthusiastic to clean the temple. And in the same way, in a community of devotees, this is at the very heart. Krishna is pleased when we appreciate, encourage, and empower each other for the pleasure of the Lord. There are wonderful stories describing the appearance day of Jagannath. They're told by our acharyas. His Holiness Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj has given many beautiful stories, authentic narrations from the scriptures. When did Krishna appear in this form, Daru Brahma, a form of wood, where he doesn't appear to have feet or arms? In one sense, an inconceivable form. I remember in 1971 and 72, I lived in Vrindavan. And I never saw a deity of Jagannath there. It was Radha, Rani, and Krishna. And sometimes Gaur-Nitai. But I never saw Jagannath in Vrindavan. Because Jagannath's form is, he's in separation from Vrindavan. So if he's in Vrindavan, I guess he's not feeling that separation. At least that's the way it seemed, because I never saw him. And then after my visa ended and I had to leave India, I went to the temple in London at Berry Place. And the first deities of ISKCON, of Radha and Krishna, were on the altar. Shri Radha Landanishwar. And then I saw something I never saw in any of the temples in Vrindavan. Above Radha and Krishna, there was a shelf. There was a shelf above the deities. I never saw that before. And on the shelf were these three deities. It was Jagannath, Balaram, and Subhadra. But I was wondering, what is this? And this is 1972. I was thinking that these devotees, they, as a preaching strategy to attract the hippies, they created psychedelic deities. And I was afraid to ask anybody about it. And then they told me about the story of Jagannath. And then I realized I made a big offense. I'm still trying to atone for that offense. But in Dwarka, when Krishna was living with queens, 16,108 queens, sometimes Sometimes Satyabhama, Rukmini, Jambavati, Bhadra, they would hear Krishna loudly crying out the name of Sri Radha and the gopis when he was apparently sleeping at night. And they were telling each other. And some of the gopis, some of the queens were saying, why you say only at night, even in the day? And they wanted so much to appreciate the supreme sweetness and fullness of the residents of Vrindavan. On the spiritual level, there is never envy. When somebody is loving Krishna in a way that's even more pleasing to Krishna, we appreciate that. We love them. We love that person for giving such happiness to Krishna. When the false ego puts ourselves in the center, we become discouraged if someone's better than me. But when Krishna's in the center, if someone's better, we celebrate the glory of that person because they're giving so much pleasure to Krishna. It's not, why not me? That is the quality of a Vaishnava. So the queens wanted so much to hear the glories of the service of the devotees in Vrindavan. Rohini, the mother of Balaram, lived in Vrindavan as the dearmost friend of Yashoda Mai for all the years that Krishna and Balaram were in Vrindavan. And except for Krishna and Balaram, she's the only one who came to live in Dwarka. So they wanted to hear from Rohini, what is the glory of the loving pastimes of the residents of Vrindavan with Krishna? Rohini told them that these pastimes are so deep and so sweet. You have never heard anything like this. If I speak them, then immediately Krishna and Balaram are going to come running to this place. And if they come, I will not be able to continue the narration. So they gathered in an assembly hall, and Subhadra, the sister of Krishna Balaram, she volunteered to guard the door. And when Krishna and Balaram start coming, she would warn Rohini and she would stop speaking. So Rohini Devi was describing the love of Yashoda and Nanda for Krishna. The love of the cowherd boys for Krishna. The love of the cows for Krishna. And ultimately the love of the gopis and Sri Radha with Krishna. Hearing this, Subhadra Mai, she was standing at the door, blocking it. She went into a state of ecstasy where she was immobilized. And Krishna and Balaram stood on either side of her. And the three of them together, hearing the pleasure that Krishna was receiving from the love of the residents of Vrindavan, Krishna and Balaram, they were feeling such intense separation from Sri Radha gopis and gopas, that their eyes became very, very large. An ecstasy this world has never seen. Like tortoise, their arms, their legs entered into their bodies. They were as stiff and immovable as wood, with most blissful smiles on their faces. At that moment, Narada Muni, he heard what was happening. And he came to the place when he was a little distance away, singing the glories of the Lord while playing upon his veena. Krishna, Balaram, and Subhadra, knowing somebody's now seeing them, they came out of that Mahabhava Prakash, the manifestation of their supreme love in separation. Narada Muni called out, I have seen, I have already seen. And he asked Krishna for one benediction. Let there be a place in this world where people can see you in this Mahabhava Prakash, in your supreme ecstasy of feeling love in separation from your devotees. Where Jagannath is feeling the highest love in separation of Sri Radha. And Krishna gave the benediction that in Niladri, where there is a blue mountain near the sea, in that place, Jagannath Puri, I will manifest these forms and remain. The forms of Jagannath, Balaram, and Subhadra are compared to Krishna. He is like a log of wood floating in the limitless ocean of Srimati Radharani and the Brajavasis' love. And the day that he appears in this form is the day that we celebrate traditionally the Snana Yatra. Can you think of anything higher than this? I will explain what is higher than this. Krishna wants to taste the love of Radha's love, separation from Krishna. So Krishna comes in the love of Radha as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to live in Jagannath Puri. Jagannath is Krishna crying for Radha, and Lord Chaitanya is Radha crying for Krishna. And this is the pastime of Sri Jagannath Puri Dham. And this is the story of Snana Yatra, which all of Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Radha Govinda